I just used a new Facebook ad creative strategy in a client's ad account that more than doubled their return on ad spend. And that's without changing anything else. It's the same offer, same service, same ad budget. And in this video, I'm going to show you what this new Facebook ad creative strategy is and why you should be using it as well. Okay, so what am I talking about here with a new Facebook ad creative strategy? Before I go into the specifics of what we did, I first want to talk a little bit more about the client and the business because I think some context will be helpful. So this client is a chain of physiotherapists. They have multiple locations here in the UK. Not a massive chain, but like I said, multiple locations. They had been running ads previously, and their offer was a heavily discounted discovery session, diagnose your problem, provide you with like a treatment plan. And then from that, they're obviously looking to sell more sort of comprehensive physiotherapy packages where people might book in for 8 sessions or 12 sessions or whatever. And they offer traditional physiotherapy services. So people come in with, they've got a sports injury or some sort of chronic issue, something wrong with their physical body, and the physiotherapist is going to do sort of massage type work and recommend exercises and stretches and things like this. I'm sure a proper physio could explain better what exactly a physio does and how they help than I can. But that's the business, and that's what they're looking to do. So what we did with this new creative strategy is we created an ad a series of ads actually, that were just compilations of client reactions immediately post-treatment. Okay, so someone might come in with, pain in their shoulder and limited mobility. The physiotherapist might do some massage work. They might get them to do some exercises within that session. And then at the end of the session, they'll often say, okay, now I want you to try and move that. And, let's see what your range of motion is like. And in that moment, the client will often go ahead and move their arm, be like, oh, wow, that feels so much better. There's so much less pain. I have so much more mobility. And what we're doing is we're capturing those few seconds, 5 seconds probably on average for each clip. And then we're doing that for lots of different clients, lots of different types of clients as well, by the way, because as a business, they work with all different types of people. They're not specific to say, we only work with, young people aged 20 to 35 who are athletic and have sports industries. No, they're going to work with those people, but also with older people that have more chronic issues and all sorts, right? The broad spectrum. So it's important that within our ad creative, we wanted lots of clips of people in that sort of post-treatment reaction, extending a knee, having injured it, being like, oh wow, that's so much better. It's relieved pressure from such and such. I'm not an expert. I'm not a physiotherapist, an expert in these things. But it's capturing those reactions from lots of different types of people and then sort of cramming that down into an ad. And we created a number of different ads, different lengths. So we had some that were, really short, like 15, 20 seconds, all the way up to, I think, about 2 minutes was the longest one. I think our best performing ad was about 90 seconds. Interestingly, in case you wanted that information, you're going to try and replicate. But I don't think the length of the ad is actually that important in this circumstance, because the way I think people consume these ads is more like they get hit with one, in this case, client reaction after another, after another, after another, after another, and they sort of go, yeah, okay, I get it. I'm going to go ahead and book this, heavily discounted discovery session, and I've had this issue, and I'm going to go get it sorted. It's not like a story-based ad where they're looking to get to the end, and in the story-based ads, because they want to find out what happens at the end, right? And in those story-based ads, you have really high average watch time, and that's not really the case with these ads. The average watch time was actually on the low side, but the return on ad spend was great because loads of people were booking in these discovery sessions, and brilliant, right? That who cares about average watch time if your return on ad spend is much better? Like I said at the beginning, it more than doubled the return on ad spend for this business based on not using this creative strategy. So all it was really sort of closely, quick cut, short snippets of just a number of those client reactions. And this worked really well, I think, for a few reasons. Firstly, it doesn't seem very ad-like. There's no sort of active selling. There's no one talking about the benefits of the product or service. There's no one sort of face to camera making a pitch. It's very casual in that sense. It's easy to consume. I'm sure you've seen the sort of thing that I'm talking about, on TikTok or YouTube Shorts or Reels on Instagram, like these sorts of people reacting to like chiropractor adjustments. It's to some extent a similar ad creative. Unfortunately, I can't share the exact examples. The client didn't give us permission to do that. And I totally understand why, because they don't want, thousands of businesses potentially copying their exact creative, which unfortunately does happen. But hopefully you understand the sort of thing I'm talking about, given how I've described it, and also I am going to show you some examples from my own ads where I'm using variations of this to show how this can apply to different businesses. So I will cover that. So I think it's easy to consume. So I think it's quite easy for people to be hooked into the creative in the first place. We did see high hook rates. I talk more about hook rates in a separate video, by the way. I'll include a link in the video description to that in case you want to know more about hooks and hook rates and that very first part of the video, which is really important. So I think this naturally hooked people really well, and then it was just nice and easy to consume and people found it interesting. What that did mean, however, is that the ad copy and the headlines had to do all the heavy lifting. They had to explain what the offer actually is. You know, I think it's an 80-85% discount off their discovery session, so charging a little bit just to ensure some level of quality coming through, but really very low barrier to entry on the cost of that. And then explaining like, we'll diagnose the problem, we'll come up with a treatment plan, we'll give you exercises and stretches to do, all that sort of stuff. So that was the offer, and that all needed to be explained within the copy and headline in order to, you know, get people to actually take action. And then in this case, they would click through to the website as opposed to using instant forms, and there'd be more information about the offer there. So if you are looking to replicate that, I have mentioned this strategy to people in the past, and they've thought, yeah, but if you don't actually specifically say in the video itself what it is that you're actually offering, what people get, then aren't they going to not do it? And I think, well, we found that was not the case with this business. I think it does help with this business that the offer is to be expected. People can see this is from a physiotherapist business. They can see the reactions. They kind of get it. If you were offering something that people don't really understand and that needs more explaining, perhaps this strategy wouldn't work as well, just to include, you know, tons of client reactions, tons of proof. But in this business, it works well. And loads of businesses operate like that, where people know what you offer. It's a case of demonstrating that your product, your service is much better than the competition. And this is obviously a really good way to do it. This gathering up these clips from clients took a little bit of time, as you might imagine. I think we had close to 50 from the physiotherapist business that we then put into ads that could work. And that makes sense, right? Their clients have to give permission for this stuff to be used. Most said no, completely understandably, but enough said yes. And across the locations, they're probably doing hundreds of sessions every week, right? So it didn't take too long to get this stuff together, but they're in a situation to be able to do that. Not all businesses are going to be able to gather up client reactions, or it just doesn't really fit with your type of business, or you don't have that creative asset yet. So there are other variations that you can use of this, and that's what I want to move into and talk about. Like I said, we can't really use that sort of thing with our business because we're not providing like an in-person physical thing that someone can then react to, but there are still ways that we can use proof. And that's what this creative strategy is really all about, is how can we produce an ad that is basically just proof that whatever we do, we're brilliant at it. And we've got people saying we're brilliant at it, and we can demonstrate that we're brilliant at it, and we can just do proof, easy to consume, allow the headline, the landing page, etc. to do the, I was going to say the convincing, but actually it's the creative still doing the convincing, to do the explaining of the offer, and more and more and more proof. Okay, like I said, many businesses fall into that category. I've got some notes here that I want to run through, and actually I'm going to show you some examples of ads of mine for different offers where we've employed this, right? So by the way, if you follow my stuff and you're interested in seeing examples of real life ads, you can always come into the Meta Ads Library, Facebook Ads Library, search for my name, Ben Heath, and you'll see the ads that I'm currently running for various different offers, and you can model from those depending on your business. Just a little aside there. But if you come into the Meta Ads Library, let me see, we've got about 20 ads running right now. But there are a couple of ads that I want to specifically focus in on. And if you check these out, you will see there's screenshots from client ad accounts, there's testimonials, there's all sorts going on all the time because we are leading with proof. And we're going to integrate these into our other types of creative, but we also have creative that is very proof specific. So let me show you an example, right? So actually that's not the tab I want this one. So this is an ad for my mentorship program, and I'm just going to quickly, I've just queued it up here, and I'm just going to quickly start by playing it, and you can see how this whole ad is proof, not in the same way as what we did for the physiotherapy business, but in a way that works for our company and the sorts of proof that we get through. So I'm just going to quickly play this.
Come here a sec, take a look at this. So this is part of my mentorship program, right? We've got a results and wins channel. And Tara has shared, she said, in 2 weeks of joining, my ROAS went from 0.7 to 8.03, and I've only implemented maybe 30% of the feedback given to me so far. She said a whole bunch of other great stuff, but that's just fantastic. That's a huge improvement in results. Zoe joined the mentorship program in all a bit of a panic. She had 35,000 raffle tickets to sell. She ended up selling out completely with 2 days to spare, which is just fantastic. And they're not the only ones. This channel is just full of people with great results, sharing wins, which is fantastic. That's why we set up the mentorship program, and it's great to see. If you're interested in the mentorship program.
Okay, so you can see that, out of a 50-second ad, the first 40 seconds of that is just going through some specific examples that's just proof. It's people that sign up to my mentorship program that have shared the massive improvements they've had in their results in the results and wins channel that we've got within the Slack program where the mentorship program is run. And that is our way of doing proof. Now, on the end of this, we've stuck a little bit more information about the mentorship program. Again, I think this falls into the category of the sort of thing people need to understand a bit more, because they hear a mentorship program from someone like me and they're like, what is that? What does that actually contain? So we need a bit of information in that. For a business like a physiotherapist, that's often not necessary, because most people are going to understand the process without that. By the way, if you are interested in my mentorship program, not many people who watch my stuff actually know I have one of these. There's a link in the video description below, and the way it works is you get access to me and my team. We do daily live calls, Q&As, things like that, literally every single working day, so you can get any questions that you want answered. You have unlimited support in Slack, so you can talk to us about issues you've got, ask us for feedback on creatives, all that sort of stuff. Like, it's really hands-on to try and help you get the best Facebook and Instagram ad results possible. As I said, link in the video description if you want to book in a free call with one of my team members to find out more. But that's an example of an ad that is basically all proof, but our way. And let me give you an example of another ad. So this is for a different offering that we have, which is called Facebook Ads Mastery. It's like my new course with School Community. Again, there'll be a link in the video description in case you're interested in that. Now, this one is different in that I've skipped ahead the first 24 seconds because that part is all about the offer itself. Okay, and now we've interspersed proof. So let me just quickly show you how we're doing that in this particular ad.
Now, this bundle is filled with the exact strategies that we've used to generate amazing results for our clients, like this, and like this, and like this.
Okay, so that's not a proof only ad, which is kind of what the purpose of this video is all about. But I didn't want to just limit my advice to creating proof-only ads like the previous mentorship one, which is virtually a proof-only ad, or like we did for this physiotherapist business, because this is a good example of interweaving more proof into your other types of ad. What you will basically find, more or less, is that every single ad that I have live has proof in it. And it might be 80, 90% of the ad, or it might just be, what was that? Well, it's still 10 seconds out of 40 seconds in that ad, so that's 25%. It might be a small amount, but we're going to have proof in there because I just think it is a thing that is so underused by Facebook advertisers and yet so advantageous. So if I jump back over to the Facebook ad library and I sort of scroll through here, you'll see that we've got ads in other formats, not just video, like image and things like that, that are all proof again. You can see this image ad over here. That's just a testimonial from Trustpilot. Here we've got an image ad of me sat with a screenshot of an ad account. That's more proof. If we scroll down, we've got a carousel over here on the right-hand side that's want results like this, and then it's just card after card of great results, right? So there are all sorts of ways that we are looking to inject proof into our ad creative, no matter the format. Obviously, video is a great way of doing, and that's what we did for the physiotherapy business. But there are other ways of doing it, and what your proof looks like will depend on your business. Okay, so I wanted to run through a few different examples of proof because there are different examples depending on what the products and services that you offer. Okay, so let's go through some examples of things you can use. Testimonials. That mentorship ad that I showed you, that's effectively a testimonial. I mean, it's shared in the results and wins column, but it's effectively the same thing. And we use testimonials all the time. Go on my website, look at my ad creative, you'll see we've got testimonials. And almost every business can get testimonials provided their product or service is producing a good results for their clients, okay? You could do results images or videos. So in our case, that's the screenshots of clients' ad accounts and things like that. You see on my Instagram stories, I'm constantly putting out little videos of client ad accounts, and we do that because it just helps with the genuineness of the results that we're sharing, and it helps people realize that it is actually real and what we're sharing is authentic. That's probably something we need to do in our business a little bit more than a lot of businesses, because there is so much skepticism around digital marketing. But yeah, how can you show results? If you are helping helping someone find a partner, you can show images or videos of them having found a partner or getting married or something like that. If you help someone grow a business with your product or service, you could show an image of the change in headcount. Maybe they went from a 6-person team to a 50-person team, and you can show these sorts of things. There's lots of different ways you can show results depending on your business. Just simple photos, images of work you have done. So if you provide something that's really visual, let's say you install luxury kitchens into people's homes, that's the service that you provide. Well, your proof is going to be lots of images of kitchens that look absolutely fantastic in these beautiful properties. That is proof, because people can look at that and be like, wow, they did this and this and this and this and this and this, and these look absolutely fantastic. By the way, a compilation of video, a dynamic element in there, compilation of short videos from lots of different ones in one ad creative could work really well for a business like that. And then there's transformations as well. So you have to be careful when you're running meta ads with before and afters. If, for example, you were to show a split image and you had someone who was really overweight and then they lost a load of weight and you had that as an ad creative, that's definitely going to get disapproved as an ad. But there are ways that you can show transformations. So if we go back to the kitchen business example, you could have sequentially in a video showing befores and afters. You just have to be extra careful with people's physiques or anything like cosmetic or anything along those lines. Now, so this sounds really quite simple, and it is. Proof, proof, proof. And I'm probably guilty of not talking about this more when I'm creating videos talking about high quality ad creative and things you can do to improve the results you get from your ad creative. I do think this is especially important in certain industries where there is a lot of skepticism, for example. So in digital marketing, not only are we putting out tons of proof in all our ad creative, but like I said, we're taking videos of client ad accounts as opposed to images, because it sort of raises the bar even further, and less people will think that we've just photoshopped in results. They're more likely to be like, oh, we can see that's a real result, because they've just taken a video of their laptop and that sort of thing. And the thing that proof really does is it increases your prospects, your potential customers' perceived likelihood of achieving either something they want to achieve or avoiding something they want to avoid. So it's like your product or service makes a promise to your customer, and the promise is something they either want or something they want to avoid. And what proof does is it makes your customer go, I think it's more likely that that's actually going to happen. If you see fantastic reviews for a restaurant, you think there's a higher percentage chance that that restaurant provides really high quality, tasty food, and you are therefore more likely to go yourself. If I put out loads of screenshots of client ad accounts and people in my mentorship program who have great results and all this proof, you then think it is more likely that if I work with this business, they're going to improve my Facebook ad results. And the exact same thing happened with the physio business, the example that we talked about at the beginning of the video, right? Is when you see lots of people going, wow, my shoulder mobility's massively improved, that's great, that you think, if I go ahead and book in with them, I am more likely to fix that nagging ankle issue or that tight back issue that I've had for a while. It's all about increasing the perceived likelihood of achievement. And this, for those of you that do have established businesses, that do have a customer base, do have people that are very happy with what you've provided, it's a huge competitive advantage, because it's something that new players within an industry can't replicate. They can't create hundreds of happy customers and use testimonials and reviews and show images from beautiful kitchens that they've installed in a home if they haven't actually done it yet. So if you're an established business and you've got all these things, absolutely dedicate some resources to, in the first place, capturing it. Client video testimonials are amazing. Written can still work well. Images, video of the great work that you have done, and put as much of that into your ad creative as possible. And you can do that by interspersing it into regular ad creative, or you can create specific ad creative that solely focuses around that proof. Strongly recommend you go ahead and take advantage of that. And if you do use this Facebook ad creative strategy, I strongly recommend that you do, you're going to need to know how to analyze its performance. Well, I show you how to analyze Facebook ads the right way in this video here. I walk you through my entire process, the exact metrics that I look at, how I optimize Facebook ad campaigns, and knowing how to optimize Facebook and Instagram ads is absolutely essential. Compounded over time, that can yield massive improvements in your results. So go ahead and check this out.